Sorry about that, folks. Not the fault of the co-host.
Totally the fault of the host, but sometimes these things do happen. And that's okay. We have gotten through it. We have survived. We're back in the chair. All is well. And with that, hi, how are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett, and this lady right over here is Tracy Barkley from GenX Marks the Spot, and this is Chattin on the Porch, our together bi-weekly live stream that we do on each other's channels. Last week we were on Tracy's. This week we're on mine. And as always with mine, we are on YouTube, that quaint little alternative social media platform. We are on Twitter, and we are on Rumble in the Jungle, otherwise called Rumble, because, you know, if you use the Rumble in the Jungle thing, it's so long and it's tongue-tying. Anyway, you get my point. Anyway, please give a subscription to Miss Tracy and her wonderful channel, GenX Marks the Spot. Please give a subscription to my channel. We would genuinely appreciate it, both of us. Glad to have you guys here tonight, as always. We are loaded with news to talk about. Lots of things. She's got topics. I got topics. You got people. We got people. We're going to make this thing happen, man. It's going to be good times for everybody. Again, my name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. This is Miss Tracy Barkley. Friend, confidant, content creator, hellraiser, shit talker. Well, that's what they say anyway. I don't believe that. She's way too classy for that sort of thing. But and now she's like, I'm going to kick your ass. Me? Me? I would never do such a thing. No, I would never stir it at all. Not in the slightest. Terrible. These accusations are slanderous, I say. Completely slanderous. Anyway, as always, we are on Twitter, we are on Rumble, and we are on YouTube. So yes, please, and yes, I see Miss Gypsy has already dropped a link in chat for Miss Tracy's channel. We do appreciate that.
Thank
Hello, hello, and everybody. How are you doing out there, Tracy? How are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Can't complain. We're at, we've made it over the hump. Now we're heading into Thursday and Friday, so should be a good, smooth finish to the rest of the week. And it's hard to believe that next weekend is the last weekend before Christmas.
Oh my God. Oh. Just remember, folks, you only have X number of shopping days left till Christmas. God help us all. So, and also, by the way, in that vein, no violence. Look, if you want to elbow somebody to get that last toy on the shelf, that's legal. You can knee them, but past that, nothing permanent, okay? I don't want any blood on the floor, but I mean, if you got to elbow somebody or you got to, that's allowed, okay? But no permanent violence, all right? Beyond that, you're fine.
That could be an interesting thing we can do on my channel next week if you want, since it'll be closer to Christmas, is video of Black Friday from the 80s and 90s when it was really the Wild West.
Yes, I love that idea. I love that. Oh my goodness. Y'all are just, that's a great idea.
Cabbage Patch kids flying everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. All right, who all is here so far? Miss Lana, lovely Miss Lana. Mwah. How are you doing, darling? And Gypsy, as always. Mwah. How are you? Our brother from Britain, Jardom, is in the house. Oh my goodness. Hello, Jardom. I read your comment.
It's gotta be like midnight there, or maybe 1 a.m.
6 hours ahead of us? Oh, yeah, goodness.
Like 11 midnight, around midnight, 11 a.m., 11 p.m. or midnight.
Well, it is. He says 11. He says 11 p.m. Okay, all right, 5 hours ahead. Well, brother, we're glad to have you here. Stay as long as you want to, or maybe better say, stay as long as you need to. If you got to duck out, we understand completely. And from across the pond, Merry Christmas from over here, us former Brits. Which, by the way, I gotta tell you something. And Jardom, I'm almost sure you'd follow him. Carl Benjamin from the Lotus Eaters podcast.
Sargon himself.
Sargon of Akkad. Man, I don't know what got into that boy last night, but he posted like an 8.5 minute video on Twitter. And folks, if you are not following the Lotus Eaters, you're missing out, because those boys have some of the best takes on British politics. And he was just to me, this was the British version of I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. That great scene from the movie Network.
Mm-hmm.
Carl Benjamin is like, I sit here and I read and I study and I walk down to this local cafe and here are these Somali refugees having a coffee and my taxes are paying for. I mean, he is going off. So yeah. Carl.
Yeah, I mean, I love Carl Benjamin, but I hope both he and the trigonometry guys are really careful and they don't end up getting like Chapoed the way that the UK law enforcement is starting to be.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that the truth? The Duke is in the house. How you doing, Duke? Fist bump to you, brother. Yeah, I mean, I highly recommend to you, if y'all got just a few minutes of free time, go out, find Carl Benjamin's Twitter account and find that 8.5-minute video. Because I'm telling you what, the British people never really, how do I want to put this? And Jardom, don't take this the wrong way, because I love y'all over there. I really do. Y'all don't get mad as much as you get politely irritated. And that's what Carl Benjamin was for 8.5 minutes. He was politely right on the edge of pissed, but mostly on the line of, politely agitated. He's just, I mean, you can see him gritting his teeth in this video. Yeah. Oh, that is a good way to describe the British people. You are sly. I will give you that. I will give you that indeed, sir. But
well,
yeah.
Now, I'm going to correct that. They're not, the French out and out rebelled, and they ended up, of course, with Robespierre and then Napoleon. So that went absolutely nowhere. The American Revolution, we were fairly violent, but you notice that the British, their monarchy slowly, over decades of that polite, sly, aggressive, pissed offness, they went from an absolute monarchy to a constitutional monarchy, pretty slim without, a major rebellion breaking out. So there's something to be said for the British way of doing things.
This is true. This is very, very true. All right. I think the Wingnuts are still assembling over on Rumble, I believe. I haven't seen anybody drop in chat yet, but I know those guys. They'll show up. They'll slink in from the bars. I mean, walk in.
Me too, Jardome. As much as I'm proud of my British, Scottish roots, I would much rather be an American.
And I was thinking last night when I was listening to Carl Benjamin's rant, and it was a rant. For a British person, it was a rant. Mm-hmm. I thought, man, I mean, don't get me wrong. We here in America have a lot of stuff we got to straighten out, but I'd love to know what we could do to help you over there in Great Britain. And I'm not saying that to suck up to you, Jardom. I mean this genuinely. I mean, you guys are the mother country. Mm-hmm. Our set of laws, our language, we owe so much to Great Britain, historically, and to watch you guys go through this form of slow fascism, which is what you guys are descending into. It's heartbreaking. I mean,
got to figure out a way to help them get the Labor Party out of power and get a real populist conservative party in power over there, and not the one they had, which was just kind of a
milk toast.
Like Boris, what was it? Boris
Johnson, yeah,
Boris Johnson. I mean, his conservative. Yeah, they were conservative, but they were also globalists. We got to get rid of the globalists.
Yeah.
And from the body language I saw when Trump was meeting with Prince
William.
Prince William. Mm-hmm. Prince William might be a good fighter for them once he gets into power.
Let us hope.
His father's all up in the globalist ass, but
yeah,
I think William's got the attitude of a millennial, and the millennials over here are pissed too. So it wouldn't make me surprised if he's not of that same mindset.
Absolutely. All right, let's get down to business. First of all, I thanked her again on Twitter today, but I hope that most of you, and I know most of the people I'm seeing in chat on the YouTube side, were here last night for Nina Infinity's visit to the electronic front porch. And I love every guest that comes on here, but Nina is just a load of fun to talk to, and just a joy. And I really do wish her best in all her efforts, because she's out there doing some of the Lord's work. I mean, you and her kind of cross paths every so often as far as the topics you guys get into, as far as pop culture and movies and stuff like that. Nina was a load of fun, and I see, for example, Jardom and who else? I think Lana and some others. I don't know if Tracy, if you got, yeah, you were here last night. Yeah, my channel got its very first set of gifted memberships passed out. I mean, somebody
Oh,
dropped,
wow.
yeah, dropped money in and dropped like for 10 gifted memberships, and people were just, grabbing them up left and right. And I was just, I mean, and to tell you, Tracy, to tell you how shocked I was, I had two expressions in my brain, and I was so shocked I mixed them up. I had hold my beer and holy cow, and it came out hold my cow. That's how just flummoxed I was by what happened. I was like, hold my cow, what in the world? And everybody just lost it laughing at me, which is perfectly fine. I had no problem with that. But yeah, last night was just an amazing night on so many levels. And Nina, if you're watching this later, darling, we love you. You're welcome back here anytime you want to come on. And you are just a joy and a treat. And I hope you and your family down there in Cancun, again, oh, the suffering, oh, the humanity, Christmas in Cancun. Hope you guys have a great Christmas, and you are a doll. And like I said, thank you so much for being here last night. All right, to business, or funny business as the case might be. We will start, as we are wont to do, with the Merry Memes section of the show, and then I'm going to hand it over to Tracy for the first topic of the night. It is not unusual, given the time of year that it is, to have children writing out their wish list to Santa for gifts they want to either get themselves or they want to see other people give. However, because politics has infected so much of what we are now even in a situation where kids' Christmas letters to Santa are tinged with politics. I mean, for example, have any of your children out there, folks, or your children's children, or your nieces and nephews, have you found them writing this kind of a wish list to Santa? I don't know, guys. To me, this is the ultimate example of, politics infecting everything, including wish gift letters to Santa. I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of crazy, guys. Kind of crazy. Tracy, what do you think?
This little boy's got the right idea. I don't know if even Santa can do the first request. It seems that maybe we're slowly migrating toward the second one, maybe.
Yeah,
So,
maybe.
but the first one might be a lost cause. I think we got to flesh out the Democrats that are in power now and replace them with populists that do have a brain.
Very true. Oh, by the way, speaking of that, and I didn't have this pulled up tonight, but I happened to see this on Twitter. Did you see where Pennsylvania's favorite Republican, John Fetterman,
he's on Truth Social, just going full MAGA.
Yeah, he going, as Camelot might say, he's going ham. And it was funny because now he's also agreed to be the first Democrat senator to sit down with Pete Hegseth and have a conversation about, his nomination to Secretary of Defense. And I thought, okay, this is interesting.
It's all going to come back to, what did I say? That Fetterman is probably going to break protocol and vote with the Republicans. And I think Bernie Sanders might too, on a few of them as well.
There you go. There you go. Very, very true. Very, very true. Oh, Zippy's in the house. And the old cat says, I has brains, I late. Brother, don't worry. I was a few minutes late starting the live stream, so, you're all good. So just, find your way to your litter box and get comfortable. That's all I'm telling you. So glad to have you here, Zippy. Boom. All right. What else do we have in the way of the merry memes? Folks, it is safe to say a lot of things are changing ever since November 5th, and it looks like free speech is making a comeback. Everywhere you go, you see people saying certain things, talking about certain subjects, and they're getting braver and louder doing it, which I am very, very happy to see. I mean, for example, it's not unusual, to hear the phrase more and more Merry Christmas. And you know what? Everybody is saying it even and up to the International Man of Mystery. So if you see this character walking down the street and he gives you a Merry Christmas, baby, you'll know that things are turning around very, very quickly. So, what is this? What, Zippy, you madman? What have you done, Zippy? Oh, for heavens to Murgatroyd. Well, thank you, sir. That's extreme. Oh, my God. Y'all have lost your minds. Thank you. Genuinely do appreciate that. So I think I've got my thing turned on so everybody can get the memberships. Okay, which I know people were getting them last night. So, I was wait a minute. She says picks who gets the memberships based on chat engagement, and if you have the option of receiving gifts turned on. Well, I think I have the option of receiving gifts turned on.
No, she means the member, the people in the chat.
Okay. All right. Yes. By all means, set yourself up. Get yourself a membership, daggone it. I mean, Zippy, you are a madman, and just bless your heart. That's just insanely generous of you, and I so appreciate it. I really do. Very, very kind. So yeah, if you see this character walking down the street and he gives you hey, bye-bye. So, you'll know that things are quickly turning around. Well, look who just sauntered through the door. Or, excuse me, sashayed through the door. Hello, Miss Courtney. I have, I'm just going to say this out and out right now. I have been meaning to get you on the channel for a conversation. Look for an invite from me. Give me about, if not tonight, tomorrow. And we're going to set up a day and time to get you on here. Okay. We will figure this out. I've been slacking doing that. And yes, I'm glad you sashayed through the door because that's a good reminder for me to invite you. So absolutely. I've been horribly slack. My apologies to you. We'll get this taken care of.
Cue the RuPaul music.
RuPaul? Oh my word. I don't know if she wants to
use Shantae.
Okay. I see your point. Well, but see, I make an important distinction. Men saunter and women sashay. At least that's the experiences that I grew up in. Okay. If a man is sashaying into the room, well, that's a whole other interesting line of conversation. So anyway, I don't know. I'm old fashioned. Who knows? Anyway, before I really get myself in trouble, I got to get off this topic. All right. One last merry meme, and we'll get into business. It's interesting the things culturally that that take hold, and I know I'm going to be speaking about a topic here that's already taken hold very much: tattoos. I mean, and for those of y'all who have them, God love you. Nothing against it. That's cool. I have never gotten one. I will probably never anticipate getting one, and that's fine. Now Jardom, come on now. That's just
hey. Weren't we just talking about?
Here we go.
Weren't we just discussing Carl Benjamin's 8-minute complaining rant?
Here we go. Hang on. Let me stir it a little bit. Let me stir it up.
Maybe our vocabulary is different than the King's English, but I do recall we just discussing Carl Benjamin's 8-minute rant. Jardon. Touche. Pippi. Pippi Longstocking. Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah. What was it that I think it was the playwright George Bernard Shaw who said that the British and the Americans are two people separated by one common language. And you know what? I have no reason to dispute the great playwright's opinion in that matter.
That reminds me of the scene in National Lampoon's European Vacation where they're trying to check into the London hotel, and the clerk has just a really thick accent.
Right.
And Chevy Chase is trying to put what he's saying into a pocket translator, and Rusty just says, "Dad, he's speaking English."
Oh, God. That's funny. I've got to go back and watch that. That's great. That is great. Well, anyway, tattoos. People are getting them, and they're beautiful. I mean, for example, Melanie Mack. gorgeous set of tattoos on her arms, absolutely wonderful. And it's amazing how attractive tattoos can make, one person to the other.
My wife
Some of
has
these,
some tattoos, and they're very attractive on her,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
I've battled my weight my entire life, so I could see it like one of my thin points getting like a nice butterfly somewhere, and then as I gain weight, it's going to get stretched out, and if I lose weight, then it's just going to look like a saggy moth. I have no desire to have that.
Understood. Now, Zippy Jardin was pushing the issue here. You want to go here, I get it, but just if you wind up getting as a cat, if you wound up getting thrown in a body of water over this, dude, you were warned. I love you, but you're just saying. But anyway, I mean, it's amazing how attractive, some people feel tattoos make the other person. I mean, for example, it's not unusual. Look at this. I mean, I love your tattoos. It's like,
Courtesy of Adam, I bet, because he.
yep. It was Adam. Yep. Now, see, I'm not too worried about tattoos in general, but when they start going, deplane, okay, when they start talking back to me, that's the problem. All right. I'm just saying, So
Am I the only one though that just randomly thinks about tattoo from this tattoo, not a tattoo? Like at certain points in my life, I'll just be sitting working or driving, and all of a sudden, that midget will just randomly drop into my brain for no particular reason. I just say, "Oh, Fantasy Island tattoo," and then I'll just go on with my day. I don't know what it means, but it's been a pattern in my life.
No, with it's not so much with me. It's not so much tattoo, but every so often I will think of Ricardo Montalban, and you know what goes through my head? Corinthian leather, of course. It's like Now, for those of you who are younger out there listening to that culture reference, like what? Just humor the old folks for a second, okay?
Well, as much as Ricardo Montalban, it was such a sex symbol, for baby boomers and silent generation.
Yeah.
Really, honestly, as much as I mean, Fantasy Island, I was really young when it was on.
Yep.
And so I remember Tattoo more than I remember him.
Yeah.
But I remember Ricardo Montalban from The Naked Gun. So anytime I think about him, I think about probably his role that he probably likes the least or liked the least.
Yep.
That's what I think of.
It's funny because I remember somewhere years ago, and I forget where I came across this. It was not unusual for the movie studios way back in the day, the 40s and the 50s, to have all of their actors who were under contract sit down for like a group photo. And I will never forget this picture. I was looking at it one day. I think it was it? Yeah, I think it was MGM, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it. I mean, you had like a very young Katharine Hepburn. She was probably in like 30s or 40s at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And you had, and I remember distinctly because I couldn't believe he looked that good, was a very young, svelte, jet black hair Ricardo Montalban. I went, holy cow, it's Khan from Star Trek 2. Like, this is what he used to look like back in the day. I was like, holy cow.
It's kind of like when people talk about, Lorenzo Lamas back in his heyday when he was on Falcon Crest, and there's nothing wrong with Lorenzo. He is a hottie. But then you see pictures of Fernando.
Yeah.
No, Daddy's got that one out.
Oh, good. Well, let's. Okay, here's a funny for you. In college, I went with two friends to get a tattoo. The guy said to me, "You know that a tattoo won't wash out like that hair color." Ooh, yeah.
Burn.
I was gonna say that's just buddy, that was not a good comment to make. No.
What Lana says there, absolutely. Like TV networks had a batch of stars signed up for a certain amount of time, paying them so much per episode. That's true. The reason you were able to have things like Battle of the Network Stars. All these stars that were basically locked in to be on shows on certain networks. They'd come out and do this little Olympic style event, which was a lot of fun.
I remember those. Yeah. Absolutely. I remember those, watching those as a kid. I think it was mostly they were aired on ABC, if I remember correctly.
Right, but it was
Yeah.
CBS versus NBC
Yeah.
versus
CBS versus
ABC, and
NBC. Yeah.
that because that was it. Those were the only networks.
Absolutely. But yes, apparently tattoos make you very attractive. So if you happen to be walking through the park and some lady is like, I love your tattoo, just saying, or vice versa, you might be sitting there on a bench and a woman walks by, or, whatever, just amazing what a tattoo can do for you. Like I said, no worries about it. But if they ever start yelling, de plane, okay, maybe you've gotten one too many. Just saying. And with that, Tracy, before I sink any further into this quicksand of bad humor, save us, please. What's the first topic of the night?
Well, it's kind of a little appetizer before we get into really heavy stuff. But we have something also about media, and that is one of my favorite stars of conservative media is going out on her own, and that is the fabulous Brett Cooper is leaving the Daily Wire. And I'm very sad because the comment section with Brett Cooper was one of, and still is, one of my favorite Daily Wire shows. Other than that, I like Ben Shapiro. That's the only one I watch regularly. Anything else on there, I can kind of take it or leave it. I occasionally will watch Matt Walsh, but for the most part, I'm Ben and Brett. And it's really disappointing because she is the voice of Gen Z. I mean, especially Gen Z women. She's bridging that gap between young women being sucked into the liberal hive mind and showing young Gen Zers, women, that they can be feminine, yet a girl boss, yet still be traditional and not have to go down that very sad rabbit hole. And so she announced it today. The Twitter, there was she's about 27, I think.
Wow.
Hey guys, some of you have heard the rumors online, and the rumors are mostly true. Today, December 10th, will be my last day hosting the comment section and working for the Daily Wire. It is not true that I am being forced out. It was my own choice to leave. And believe me, this is bittersweet. I have had the most unbelievable 3 years helping to craft the show, building this community, and telling stories and sharing the truth every day. Through the comment section, you all have made me braver, more articulate, more thoughtful, more hopeful than I could have ever imagined. And I'm grateful that we spent this time together. And I'm grateful that the Daily Wire gave us a platform to grow this.
And basically, she goes on to say that effective immediately, she's not, unlike Candace Owens that took the Candace Owens show with her when she went, it was her show. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Brett basically built up that show for them. So the comment section, which is where she just goes out on Twitter and TikTok and covers all the insanity, that is staying with the Daily Wire. And she announced today that her former producer and her best friend Reagan Robach will be taking over the comment section, and she's going out on her own. She's already got a brand new YouTube channel just called Brett Cooper. Her and her husband recently married. They live out in the boonies east of Nashville, and they're going to homestead. So she talks about it all the time on Twitter. So from what I gather, her new channel is going to be less politics and more them setting up a completely independent homestead, which I think is exactly what she wants to do. And there's been all kinds of rumors. She's being fired. She's doing all this. I don't believe any of that. I love how people love to get drama started when there's no drama. This is just a young lady that did not wish to renew her contract for her own reasons, and she's making a graceful exit.
And see, to me, that's if someone is going to leave an organization, okay, hopefully they don't leave with animosity or bad blood, as was the case with Candace and Benjamin. And, I mean, I don't know that much about Brett Cooper. I mean, from everything I've read and seen so far, she seems like a very wholesome, level-headed, good head on her shoulders kind of young lady. And you know what? If she's made the decision that she wants to leave the Daily Wire and, step out on her own and do something different, God love her. And it sounds like her colleagues at the Daily Wire, from everything I've seen about this, they are like wishing her nothing but the best. And this is the way it ought to be done.
The only one that has not spoken out is Ben, but I have a feeling he will. Knowing
Oh,
Ben, he's probably upset, and it's going to take him a minute to compose himself because
yeah,
that was kind of like his little sister. I mean, they did a lot of collaborations together.
yeah.
So I think he's probably just trying to figure out what to say. But Jeremy Boring did a very, very nice public statement. Matt Walsh did, Andrew Clavin, all of them, Michael Knowles. And so, I mean, her channel that she just created yesterday is already at almost 100,000 subscribers. So she's not going to have, and there's no even content on it yet. So she's going to have a whole lot of incentive and a whole lot of following over there. I have not watched. I do watch Mark Dice from time to time, Gypsy. I haven't seen his video on that. I know he hates the Daily Wire, so I kind of gird my loins when I go over there because I know he's a little bit slanted and a little bit based on that. But I do like a lot of what Mark Dice has to say, but I have not checked that out, but I will. And also, she was the go-to actress for all of their productions. She did one of the voices in the animated series they do, Coach, I can't think of it, but she did one of the voices. She's the Queen Guinevere in the Pendragon, the Pendragon Chronicles, which is their take on Arthurian legend. She's playing Snow White in their upcoming version of Snow White, which is supposed to be out in 2025. So I think she'll probably still be working with the Daily Wire in acting positions, if I had my guess, because she's an accomplished actress. She left Chattanooga and went to went to LA and had some pretty high. Her IMDb is pretty rich, so was a seasoned actress before she even came to the Daily Wire.
Wow.
So I don't think we've seen the last of her in the public sector.
Well, that's great because I mean, I am, and this is one of the things that Nina and I talked about last night. Is in the creative space, there is so much going on right now, be it in comic books or film or acting or video games or what have you. And if this girl is as talented, and again, I don't know that much about Brett Cooper, but if this girl is as talented as you're saying, and I believe you, I have no reason to think you're not telling me the truth. I want to see her stay as engaged as she wants to. I mean, if she and her husband are making a decision about, this is the life and the lifestyle we want to live, and that takes her away from the creative efforts that she's been engaged in for some years now, I totally respect that. That's her right to do it. But man, I mean, I would love to see her keep on doing what she's doing, because Lord knows there is coming a generation gap in acting and writing and in a lot of different areas, and who's gonna step up, who's gonna fill the gap, don't know. But maybe this
her schedule was jam-packed at the Daily Wire. Not only was she doing her show, which she did a show every single day, and then occasionally she would do the Brett Cooper After Hours or After Dark, kind of like Ben does After Dark. Then she was filming both Pendragon and Snow White in Romania or Bulgaria. She was over there a year after being a newlywed. You can imagine the strain that's putting on a new relationship.
Oh yeah. That's just TBA over on Rumble says woke movies will all go the way of the dodo. Your lips to God's ear, brother. That's all I'm saying. Your lips to God's ear. But I mean, and that's something else we got into last night with Nina. It's like, where are we? She's like, I think we're closer to getting out of this than we've ever been before, but we still got a long way to go. And I said, I can agree with that.
Hollywood is seeing that woke does not sell.
Yeah.
I mean, I think honestly that what's probably going to be that abysmal version of the Chronicles of Narnia will probably put the nail in that coffin. And it just hates me that they're doing it on C.S. Lewis.
Well, I mean, hell, they've done it. They've done it now to Tolkien with Rings of Power. They've ruined Doctor Who. They've destroyed Star Trek. Mm-hmm. They've screwed up Star Wars to the point nobody wants to watch it. So let's go after one of the most wholesome,
Christian storytellers,
IPs out there. Let's get the last scalp. Let's go after
Tolkien had Christian elements to it, but it wasn't overtly Christian. But C.S. Lewis literally said this is a series that teaches children about Jesus the life of Jesus, the creation of the earth, and Revelation, the end of time.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is for them, and that's exactly what I'm doing. And then they're going to make it about rock and roll. How the hell do you do that?
I mean, when I heard not Greta Gerwig is a name in the nerd space that it's kind of like that line from that old Paul Simon song. You spit on the ground every time their name gets mentioned. Well, that's Greta Gerwig.
Yeah,
she
messed up Barbie.
Yep. And I'm like, oh God. TBA's like, oh my God, that's a horde to C.S. Lewis. Dude, I mean, go out on Twitter or go out anywhere, do on a search engine on Google and type in Greta Gerwig and Chronicles of Narnia, because I'm telling you, I think it's in pre-production at this point, and I'm sitting here going, oh God, kill this thing, kill it. Don't let it see the light of day, kill it.
Disney tried to just do the story verbatim, but tone down the Christianity, and they found out real quick that you couldn't do it. That's the reason the other Lion Witch and the Wardrobe did really good, but Prince Caspian and the Voyage of the Dawn Treader just slowly started to decline because they started trying to take the Christianity out of it. You can't do that.
No, you can't. Either you commit to it all the way or just don't do it at all. I mean, they did fairly well with Lion Witch and the Wardrobe.
I love that movie, but Caspian and Dawn Treader,
they took it out. Yeah, they slowly started taking it out. And when they did, it's like, oh, geez, guys. Anyway. But yeah, I'm happy for Brett. And, 24 hours, 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's freaking awesome. That's just great. Yeah, she's gonna be just fine.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing her out there planting crops and milking a cow if that's what she wants to do, and putting up solar, and that stuff's very relaxing to watch.
Well, it's relaxing to watch. It's relaxing to engage in because there's no machinery involved. There's no social media involved. It's just you and your hands, or you and your physical activity, and you just one of the most therapeutic things that my dad used to love to do when he was alive. We had an old John Deere lawn tractor that he would mow grass with. And it would be nothing for Dad to get on that thing and ride around for a couple hours. We had like an acre and a half, big field, which he had apple trees, pear trees, etc. And he would just get out there and mow. It was just him and the hum of the mower, and it took his mind off everything. It's just amazing. Oh, Jardom, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Who are these people that decide the generations? That's a great question, sir. That is genuinely great question.
Literally, it's just random. If you're talking about the silent baby boomer Gen X, it's literally sociologists that want to study trends in people that were born around the similar time period, and they just slap years of birth on it.
Yep, absolutely. Zippy's like, she should be Zippy, if you wind up getting thrown in a body of water before this night is over with and your fur gets wet, don't say you weren't warned. I love you, but just saying. WWG1 just sauntered into the room. By Grabstar's hammer, by the sons of Odin, I have arrived. Good evening, all. Well, good evening to you, WWG1. Glad to have you in the house. Now I feel like it's a party over there on Rumble. All of the wing nuts have assembled. Well, except for Sean from Third Railify. But the OG wing nuts, y'all are in the house. So glad to have you, kids.
And that's what gets me. You do movies, series that are based on other religions, like Milan, I can name others, and they don't change them. Like anything that's based on Norse mythology, they don't change those stories. Why do they try to do it to Christian stories? Why is it just Christian stories that they try to do that to?
And people say all the time, "Oh, you guys are just making this up about bias against Christianity." No, you want some proof of it? Tracy just showed you a real good example. You never try to change any other religion's stories that you put into film, but when it comes to Christianity, we got to water that stuff down, man. We got to tone that stuff down. Oh, now wait a minute. Good for the goose, good for the gander, guys. I mean, it's either one or the other here. Absolutely crazy. So. All right. So what else with Miss Brett?
That's all I have to say. I just was upset that she was leaving, but I'm glad she's doing her own thing.
Well, you're not. I mean, I think when I first heard about this, was when That Tug Life posted about it yesterday. I was like, what? What is this story? What's going on? So, yeah, I mean, but if she's leaving for the right reasons, I'm like you. God love her. Good luck. Godspeed, my dear. Godspeed. All right. Shifting gears just ever so slightly from social media content creation and creators to news out of Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, a mistake has now been rectified. People figured this was coming. They just didn't know how it was going to go down. Well, I will give him credit. He did himself a decent service. He did it as honorably as could be done given the circumstances over the department that he heads. Ladies and gentlemen, it was announced this afternoon that FBI Director Christopher Wray will resign upon the 20th of January. Ladies and gentlemen, he's out. In an article by Rebecca Betesh of thehill.com, FBI Director Christopher Wray announced Wednesday he plans to resign from the agency, leaving his post ahead of President Trump's apparent plans to fire him. Quote, "After weeks of careful thought, I've decided the right thing for the Bureau is for me to serve until the end of the current administration in January and then step down," Wray said in a town hall meeting. "My goal is to keep the focus on our mission, the indispensable work you're doing on behalf of the American people every day. In my view, this is the best way to avoid dragging the Bureau deeper into the fray while reinforcing the values and principles that are so important to how we do our work." Trump nominated Kash Patel to head the FBI, signaling his plans to fire Wray, whom he nominated to lead the Investigation Bureau in 2017, and who otherwise would not have finished his term until 2027. Patel has proved a controversial choice to lead the agency, particularly for those concerned about comments mirroring Trump's calls for retribution. Trump responded to Wray's announcement by pushing for Patel's confirmation and complaining about his legal troubles. Quote, "We will now restore the rule of law for all Americans under the leadership of Christopher Wray. The FBI illegally raided my home without cause, worked diligently on illegally impeaching and indicting me, and has done everything else to interfere with the success and future of America," he wrote on Truth Social. The FBI secured a warrant from a judge to search Trump's home after he resisted numerous requests to return documents from his time as president, with the Bureau recovering more than 300 documents with classified markings. Wray has led the agency under a time of increased scrutiny, taking the reins after Trump fired then FBI Director James Comey. He's fond of stressing the agency must always do the right thing in the right way, both before lawmakers and FBI staff, and heightened distrust of the agency. But he nonetheless has been subject to criticism, largely from Republicans who argued the agency has unfairly targeted conservatives. That includes ongoing complaints that the Bureau acted improperly when investigating the 2016 Trump campaign, actions that predated his tenure. Yeah, so you got a lot of people right now very, very nervous in D.C. because he's out. Patel will get in. I'll be shocked if he doesn't.
I think Trump will get all of his nominations. I think he'll get every single one of them.
And I'm going to be very interested to see what Kash Patel does once he is sworn in. This is going to be very interesting. And Jardam,
it's going to be classifying a lot of stuff, and I'm here for it.
And thank you again for the £2 It's genuinely appreciated. Wray wants his pension. I'd say Wray wants more than his pension. He wants to save his skin.
Mm.
It's funny because, I was watching a little bit of War Room with Steve Bannon, and now again, take it for what it's worth. Bannon is of the opinion you got a bunch of people: Andrew Weissman, McCabe, Comey, Wray, Brennan, Clapper, a slew of them that are absolutely terrified right now when they found out that Wray is gone. Because it's like, okay, he's out the door. Here comes Patel. And I don't know what Kash Patel is going to do. I mean, there's a lot of hope for what he will do to reform the FBI. Personally, I think it needs to be shuttered, but that's just me. But there's a lot of people getting very nervous right now. And hold on one second, because no, you guys over on Rumble, I'm not ignoring you. WWG1 says he's not going to give the real reason why he's resigning, namely that he's a douchebag. Can't disagree with your assessment. But what else? Let's see. TBA dribbling douche water as he walks out the building and into the gutter we go. Oh, God, yeah.
Better watch what he's trying to shred before he goes out the door.
Exactly. So no, guys, I'm not ignoring you over there. I just didn't get a chance to see it until now. So there you go. I love you, and your comments have been read. Here's another one ought to be nervous. Rosenstein. You know, there's like I say, do I know that people are going to get? I have no idea. I have no idea what Kash Patel is going to do, but there's a lot of people in DC right now that are very, very nervous. I mean, Pam Bondi, I've heard mixed reviews. Will she be aggressive? Some people say she won't be. Some people say she will be. We'll see. Don't know yet. But this announcement is causing a little bit of freak out in DC, which is not hurting my feelings in the slightest.
Anything that freaks out the swamp, I'm all for.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, and there's a lot, I mean, yeah, and there's one more part of this, this article I want to read, and this may be in part why Ray finally decided to throw in the towel. Let me put this back up here. Just Monday, incoming Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley, Republican of Iowa, said Ray and his deputies should, quote, move on in an 11-page letter of grievances, some of which touched on events before Ray's arrival. Quote, for the good of the country, it's time for you and your deputy to move on to the next chapter of your lives, Grassley wrote. I therefore must express my vote of no confidence in your continued leadership of the FBI. President-elect Trump has already announced his intention to nominate a candidate to replace you, and the Senate will carefully consider that choice. For my part, I have seen enough and hope your respective successors will learn from these failures. Now, I want to talk about this for 1 second. And I'm not going to lie, this was sort of touched on with some of Bannon's comments. There are people over on MSNBC that are poo-pooing Grassley's letter and Grassley's comments. Look, say what you want to about Chuck Grassley. I'm not saying he's any kind of a fire-breathing MAGA guy. He's not. He's old-school Republican. But when Grassley says something, he's usually got his I's dotted and his T's crossed before he ever opens his mouth. So, yeah, I think that this letter was like, dude, get out. Your replacement's waiting in the wings. Get out. I've had enough of you. And Grassley's been all over the FBI for years. This has been one of his pet issues for as long as he's been in D.C., you know, corruption inside the organization. And when he reaches the point that he says, I'm done with you, and I'll be chairman of the Judiciary Committee coming in, Bray would have had a lot more problems. A lot more problems. So, Jardam, again, with another, thank you very much. Do you think Trump can bring real reform? What your nation does affects the whole world. All right, I'm going to give you my take, and I'll throw it to Tracy on this. I think Trump, having now gone through one full term, and by his own admission, he's like, I had no idea how to govern. I mean, Bobby Kennedy Jr. was talking about he had a conversation with Trump, and Trump admitted to him. We didn't think we won, and then it's like, oh my gosh, I got to put together a government. I have no idea who to talk to. People are saying, hey, talk to this guy. You ought to put this guy in, yada, yada, yada. I think Trump now, having gone through one term already, seeing what was done to him in 2020, and then watching everything that was done in the 4 years he was out of the office, I think gives him better perspective. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of the choices that he's made for the cabinet reflect the fact he wants to get something done for the American people in the second term. Now, how does that turn out 4 years from now? Don't know. I think his heart is there. I think the assassination attempt in June changed him in a lot of ways, and I really think he's got the desire to do it. What it's going to look like when it's all said and done, or how effective it's going to be in trying to reform certain institutions, Don't know yet, but it's going to be really interesting to watch. And I'll throw it to you on that one.
I think he's going to do everything that he realistically can. I think if he can get all of his nominees in place and they can make some substantial motive in draining some of the swamp, moving some of the bureaucrats to the side, I think he'll do a lot. I think he'll do a lot more to drain the swamp than any other president has to date, except for, the people, our founding fathers on through maybe the first 10 presidents when there really wasn't this big of an administrative state. I think just to start, I'm saying everything we do affects the world, but you're starting to see what I call the Trump effect all around the world. In my opinion, you're starting to see these radical changes that would never have happened if they knew that basically another Obama puppet was going back in. You wouldn't have seen the kind of things happening all over the world. You wouldn't see Israel basically breaking off the chain and doing what they need to do to settle that war. You probably, even though I'm still on, I still am in that mode of researching what's going on in Syria, you would not have seen those rebel forces take such a chance and just advance on Damascus if it hadn't been for the Trump effect. There's a lot of stuff going on that wouldn't have happened except for Trump being elected. And so, yes, I think he will initiate real change for the better.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So that's everything that I've got on the topic, and we'll see how this thing plays out. So with that, Tracy, I'm going to throw it back over to you.
All right. Well, I've got kind of my next one's going to be a bit of a longer topic, but it all centers on one thing, and that's the Daniel Penny case. And we are so glad that he was acquitted, even though I think a better I agree with you, Jardim. 600,000 dead in Ukraine for basically a proxy war to basically stall out Putin's military. That's essentially a lot of what it was, and to protect what I think is the world's biggest money laundering scheme. 600,000 dead Ukrainians and Russians and wounded Russians and Ukrainians to protect a dirty little secret and bankrupt what they think is the great enemy of the West in Russia. Yeah, I'm so glad that Trump actually uttered the word 600,000 when he was talking about the war.
Yeah.
And us stopping funding for what is now being used as offensive weapons and forcing them to the table will save lives. And I think absolutely they will be forced to the negotiating table and we will see a ceasefire.
Yep.
And now I'm off my soapbox.
Right ahead.
Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right.
But Daniel Penny and considering suing Alvin Bragg.
Let me know when you want me to pull it up.
Check it out.
To Daniel Penny's attorney, Stephen Razor, joins us right now. Stephen, congratulations. Good morning to you.
Thank you so much. Good morning to you as well.
So we saw you yesterday. We were running the video of you and Danny and another attorney at the Stone Street Tavern after his acquittal. I know you've got the attorney-client privilege, but tell us what you guys were talking about. I mean, is there one thing that he said to you that you thought, wow, that's cool?
Well, the relief he felt, and that other attorney, by the way, is Thomas Kniff, partner Razor and Kniff. And, Danny, for us, it became more than just a case, right? So we're trying to take care of Danny and make sure that he's treated fairly in a system that was geared to prosecute him maliciously in a manner in which was not supported by the evidence. And there was other motivations at play here. So Danny's saying that he's relieved. That was the best thing that I could ever hear because the amount of stress that he's been under for the past year and a half has been tremendous.
Stephen, you're correct. It was a malicious prosecution. But I got to ask you about this lawsuit that y'all may go against him with, because at one point when they tried to get some consolation charge against Daniel, the jury struck it down. But the judge agreed with you that it wasn't really the right process to go by, but still allowed it to happen.
Yeah, well, he did. I mean, he actually made sure it happened. So for whatever reason, so I can't get into the mind of the judge, right? But what I do know is that it was based on the application of the district attorney's office. And just like Danny said in his interview, it was like they wanted to try and get him on something. They knew they weren't going to be able to get him, so they had to get rid of that top count in order to get to that second count, just in the hopes that maybe they could pull out a win here. And they were unsuccessful, thank God.
Yeah.
I think the difficult thing for me, I think about his family.
And so later on in there, they talk about potentially suing the city of New York DA prosecutor's office for what they basically did to him. And it was all basically a political persecution. This was A, self-defense, which Alvin Bragg hates. And it was 2, a white man assaulting a black man. And that's exactly what it was. It was racism. And to that point, I have proof of what I say, because there is another case that was prosecuted was not prosecuted last year. As a matter of fact, something very, very similar to the Daniel Penny case, and that is the case of Jordan Williams, who last year, 2023, entered a subway train with his girlfriend. 2 one Latino and 1 African-American homeless, 2 men entered. They began doing basic harassment of the train, but nothing to the degree that Jordan Neely was doing. It was just basically getting in people's faces and, just acting crazy. And then one of them decided to punch Jordan Williams, who was a 20-year-old man, black man, his girlfriend, in the face. And as a result, he and the homeless man got into an altercation at such a point that Jordan Williams pulled out a switchblade knife and stabbed the homeless man to death. And he was dead on arrival. And basically, he was arrested. He was taken in, but then the grand jury refused to indict. All charges dropped. And what was the key differences between this case and the case of Daniel Penny? It was self-defense, clearly self-defense. A knife was used in this case, whereas there was no weapons at all in the Daniel Penny case. It was simply a restraining hold. And actually, it was illegal for Mr. Williams to even have that switchblade because it was over 4 inches. It is illegal to carry a knife in the city of New York that's over 4 inches. He would say later that the reason he had the knife was that a homeless person put a switchblade in his face on the subway. And so after that, he decided to carry a knife for protection. He said he only wanted to get himself and his girlfriend off that train safely. But what was the difference between the fact that he had a weapon, he was breaking the law by having that weapon, he got no charges, not even the weapons charge held up, even though that he was clearly breaking that. But Daniel Penny had to go all the way to trial. There was a malicious effort to convict him of something for political reasons. Yet this case, which they had at least could have gotten this guy legitimately on a weapons charge. I'm glad they didn't. I'm not glad, I'm glad heroes are heroes. But what was the difference? It's both Alvin Bragg. What was the difference? Do I have to say the quiet part out loud?
Wait. I think we have an answer to that question. WWG1 over on Rumble says, race. Could it be? And TBA says, was the homeless man white?
No, there was one Latino the homeless man was Latino that he killed.
Okay.
But there was also an African-American homeless man that was with the Latino that was harassing people on the bus, but it was a Latino that punched his girlfriend.
Oh my God. Oh, jeez. Yeah. Yep, pretty much. If you ask BLM, they'll tell you that's exactly what's going on in the world.
And it's just, it's so blatant. It's so blatant. And State of New York just looks the other way. The state of California looks the other way when these
Yep.
things happen.
Yeah. Well, but the
It's
thing is, the
literally
good news.
trying to empower criminals at, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good news is, at least I think, I mean, you saw out in California, you had prosecutors.
Oh, and that's not all.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say you had prosecutors and DAs out in California
No, go ahead.
that were
I'm
getting
sorry.
that were getting thrown out. They're getting thrown out of office, and you had, I think it's. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen. If Alvin Bragg stands for re-election as the Manhattan and DA coming up in next year, I'm going to be shocked.
Mhm.
I'm not saying he'll be defeated if he does run, but he's going to sweat bullets because he has no
Mhm.
credibility with anybody up there now. Nobody. I mean, it's atrocious
Mhm.
what he's done. And Letitia James, do I think she's going to get bounced? No, but she's going to sweat a whole lot more. If ever there was a time, and I'm not necessarily saying this, I'm not trying to shill for the Republicans here. They're either smart enough to do it or they're not going to be smart enough to do it. But here is a brilliant opportunity. Here is a brilliant opportunity to get these people out and get good, reasonable, law-abiding prosecutors and attorneys into office for the benefit of all people under the law, not the benefit of one group of people over another, or the redress of grievances that have been long since over with. Now is the chance to put some good. I mean, I hate to say this, and I never thought I'd ever say it again. California actually led the way in this election. Nobody's hearing about it.
Exactly.
Nobody's hearing about the people that got bounced.
Mm-hmm. 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 And one other thing that kind of cements how bad Alvin Bragg is. This is a case right now that's currently being prosecuted. He's been charged. Along the same lines, this is a white gentleman that tried to stop a convenience store, a bodega robbery, and is now being charged for basically roughing up this innocent angel.
All right, let me pop this up there. Well, as soon as it pops up there, well, it's not letting it come through. Might be in there
for stopping a bodega robbery.
Wow. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous.
And do you see the similarities there between Daniel Pitti and Jordan Neely? Black, a criminal.
Yeah.
White or Hispanic. I couldn't tell exactly what they were, but white or Hispanic hero.
Yep. No, I agree. And maybe hopefully, we start turning the corner here. WWG1 says, Brian, turn off Pornhub. Internet will work better for you after that. Oh, for heaven's sake, WWG1, stop it. Anyway, Jardom, go ahead.
Oh no, I do have one more thing, if that's okay. And this,
go ahead.
Not just New York. This is something that happened last year in Kansas City, Missouri, to show you that this is not just in New York and California. It's anywhere Democrats have one party control. In Kansas City, Missouri, they do. This is the case of a gentleman that walked into a gas station. He was told to leave because he was knocking shelves over, yelling and screaming at the clerk. He and his girlfriend, the girlfriend was just with him. She wasn't doing anything. The clerk told him to leave. He went out to the parking lot and drew a gun. And a off-duty firefighter who saw him tackled him and began struggling with him. The man handed his gun to his girlfriend. They were struggling for the gun, and the girlfriend shot and killed the firefighter. Guess who was not charged? The girlfriend that shot the firefighter. I'm going to show you a little bit of that footage.
All right. Yeah, just let me know when you're ready. I'll pop it up there.
I've got it right here.
Okay.
Can everybody see?
All right. Hang on. I'm trying to.
Should some of that fight between 41-year-old Anthony Santi and 23-year-old Javon Taylor. Witnesses tell KMBC the fight may have lasted as long as 10 minutes. Javon Taylor's girlfriend pulled out a gun and ultimately killed Anthony Santi.
And was not charged because the corrupt DA in Kansas City ruled it defense of another person.
Wow.
Even though he's the one that pulled the gun and the firefighter was trying to protect the other people in the parking lot.
Jeez.
It's like Democrats want to disincentivize you from standing up for yourself or others.
Yep.
Literally.
Well, and to me, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, you cannot have it both ways. You can't sit there on the one hand and tell the people of any major metropolitan area, yeah, we're going to decrease the police force in your area and our response times are going to be slower and everything, but not allow them to be able to defend themselves under the castle doctrine, which says your home is your castle, and not be able to defend their lives and property. I'm sorry, you can't do that. Now, they'll argue, oh, yeah, well, we've got to get guns out of this. No. It's not an issue. Look, the British have the lowest rate of gun ownership in the world and still have one of the highest levels of crime. What's the principal weapon used? Knives and cars. Murder has not decreased in London, even though outside the United States, London has probably the strictest gun control laws in the world. Okay? The guns have nothing to do with the crime. The people have everything to do with the crime. So I don't see how, well, I see how they do it because they can, but you cannot with intellectual honesty say, we're going to decrease the amount of police. We're going to do these things that are not traditional forms of law enforcement, but you are not allowed to defend yourselves. You're not allowed to own firearms. And if you do, it's under very strict circuit. We're basically going to Barney Fife you. We're going to let you have a gun and one bullet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm sorry. You cannot do
let's say that tomorrow they made us get rid of all the guns.
Right.
People that want to kill are going to use knives, cars, clubs. And guess what? If the amount of mass knifings or mass katana attacks like they have in Japan start going through the roof, guess what they're going to ban next? Knives
and katanas.
And katanas. Or they're going to ban cars if people start driving cars through buildings and into crowds.
Well, you remember a few years ago up in Milwaukee, I think this was maybe, 4 or 5 years ago, there was a very disturbed man got in an SUV and drove through a Christmas parade. Matter of fact, it was around this time, about 4 or 5 years ago.
Was it Waukegan?
Waukegan.
Yeah.
Waukegan, Wisconsin. Drove through, no, it was Waukegan, Illinois. I'm sorry. Yeah. Waukegan, Illinois. Drove through, mowed down about 15 people, killed or injured, but he wasn't using a gun, using an SUV. What are we going to do? Ban SUVs? Oh, well, we've got subways. We'll let them ride the subway or the public bus.
Or walk.
It's just, it's nuts. It's absolutely
better yet,
nuts.
make everybody work from home. Keep them in their pods.
Yeah, exactly.
Waukesha,
Wisconsin. Thank you, Lana. I appreciate it. And by the way, Jardon, again, thank you for your generosity. In Chicago, blacks in houses made of wood. Bullets go through wood easily. Yeah. I think he means blocks of houses. I think is what he meant to type. But yeah, point taken. I mean, you can't. If a man or woman's home is their castle, they should have the right to defend it. You cannot decrease police presence and not give the people the right to defend themselves, or maybe not the right, give them the ability to defend themselves. To me, if the Second Amendment movement wants to make inroads, one of the best things they could do is anytime this stuff comes up to reduce the amount of police, say, okay, I have a corresponding amendment to this. I want to change the gun laws in the city so that we set up a program where people can go be trained in firearm safety, pass a course, make sure, criminal background checks, fine, and make it easier for them to own firearms.
The
But-
only reason the government has not turned full on, the Democrats have not turned, and the neocons have not turned full on tyrannical here, is because they know how many of the American people are armed. And that, yeah, we might not be able to beat the military, but we could sure do guerrilla warfare long enough, it would bankrupt them.
You got it. You got that right. Absolutely got that right.
Even if they did shut off our power and all of that, we'd still fight.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, Zippy does, and Jardam, I've heard this too. They are trying to ban knives. Jeez, this is nuts. Just absolutely nuts.
You're not allowed to have weapons at all. Only criminals and the government can have weapons.
Crazy. That is crazy. And one more reason, Jardam, that we are praying for you and your British brothers and sisters over there. Seriously. Again, I'm not saying we're perfect. Believe me, we got a long way to go to straighten out our problems. But as bad off as we are right now, we love y'all over there in Great Britain. But bless your all's hearts, y'all got it way worse than we do right now. You know, oh, you're not totally effed. Not yet. Not yet. You know, I still think there are seeds of hope being planted in Great Britain. I really do believe that. It might be hard to see it now, but the seeds are being planted. I could be wrong. What else you got on this topic, dear?
That's all I have. I just wanted to run through those related cases because people say, what if, Jordan Neely had been white and Daniel Penny would be black? You see the BLM people asking that.
Oh, God.
Okay, I just showed you what would happen if the roles were reversed. Totally opposite.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Here's the guy's name. Daryl Brooks drove his SUV. The media said a car went through the parade as if it wasn't yeah, exactly. Hello, Motard. If you've been here for a while and I haven't seen you yet, howdy. Good to have you in the house tonight. Now I saw a comment. Well, I'll tell you what, since it's about 7:15, let me do a real quick commercial for the both of us. This lovely young lady right over here is Tracy Barkley from GenX Marks the Spot. This handsome devil right here is Brian Trippett from the Front Porch Conservative. We are both YouTubers, content creators, rabble rousers, thought provocateurs, and basic good rogues. So if you like what we do, this thing that we call, or I should say, by the way, can I borrow that term, the Wednesday night newsroom?
Sure.
Well, yeah, because I love that, by the way. I didn't want to just out and out take it and not ask you first.
Take it.
Yeah. We do the Wednesday night newsroom, sometimes on her channel, sometimes on mine. Tonight it happens to be on my channel. So if you like what we do, give us a sub. We would genuinely appreciate it because we talk about all kinds of stuff. Some stuff you've heard about, some stuff you haven't. And hopefully we make it entertaining for all y'all. Give us a sub, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment in chat, share the link around, go crazy, St. Louis, and all across the world. And all across the world tonight has been generous and crazy because Jardam's been dropping in and Zippy's been dropping in, and bless y'all's hearts. It's greatly appreciated. All right, commercial over. I saw a comment earlier, and as usual, this audience is prescient in that you guys are almost a half a step ahead of me. And I'll just say a half a step ahead of me because y'all can't get ahead of Tracy. Half a step ahead of me because y'all are talking about bringing up something that I'm about ready to get to. So I will go ahead and tee this up with, great. So the deep state throws bus-sized drones up over New Jersey. And Gypsy, as always, one of my favorites here on the Electronic Front Porch. Mwah, number one. Number two, thank you for that because you just teed up one of my topics. For the past several days, maybe a week, am I wrong about that? But for sure the past few days, there have been these enormous drones flying around over New Jersey. And it's starting to scare people to death. Because, I've heard everything from UFOs to, are they ours? Are they somebody else's? Well, it's kind of coming to a head today because a lawmaker from New Jersey, Jeff Van Drew, who's a Republican congressman, made a statement that the Pentagon is very quickly going, no, that's not true. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, I got a story here from Fox News. Pentagon denies lawmakers' claims that New Jersey drones are from Iran. Now, this is pretty heavy. Jeff Van Drew called for drones to be shot down on Faulkner's Focus. So I'm going to play a little clip of this, and we'll talk about it, and we'll get into the article here in just a second. So, as always, do me a favor, give me a sound check. Let me know if this is coming through. With that, check it out.
State, it's an invasion of our airspace. In focus now, Republican Congressman Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey, member of the House Judiciary Committee on the Hill right now. How do you address this at this point?
Well, here's the real deal, Harris. You know, I'm also on the Transportation Committee, on the Aviation Subcommittee, and I've gotten to know people. And from very high sources, very qualified sources, very responsible sources, I'm going to tell you the real deal. Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones. That mothership is off, I'm going to tell you the deal. It's off the east coast of the United States of America. They've launched drones, is everything that we can see or hear. And again, these are from high sources. I don't say this lightly. Now, you know, we know there was a probability it could have been our own government. We know it's not our own government because they would have let us know.
Oh, now, wait a minute. I'm going to throw a BS flag on that one. Okay, and you know what? Gypsy, again, half a step ahead as usual. Love you, dear. I got a problem with this. Let's just take this argument and run it out to its full conclusion here. We know that they're not ours. Our government would have told us. Really? Really? Our government would have told us the same way our government told us we didn't have inflation?
Same way they told us we haven't been in a recession for the last year. The same government that told us that masks were effective for preventing the spread of COVID. Oh, yeah, the government would tell us everything.
The same government that told us there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, such that we had to go in there with a war, get thousands of military people killed, thousands more injured, PTSD all over the place from some of our best and brightest of that generation. That's the same government that's telling us that there's nothing wrong here, nothing to see, move on. Oh, it's got to be Iran's fault. Okay, let's take that out to its logical conclusion. First of all, even if they were in international waters, let's say an Iranian mothership, whatever the hell that is, you mean to tell me the United States Navy wouldn't know about this?
Or the Coast Guard?
Or the Coast Guard. International water is 3 miles out, if I remember the rule correctly. But still, even if they're out past 3 miles, you don't think we're not going to know about it?
And they're certainly not going to let them fly over. Okay, the Chinese balloon, I think that was one thing. Maybe, I don't know how that happened either. Anything can happen on Biden's watch. But a mothership releasing half a dozen drones, that's a lot different than a freaking balloon drifting overhead.
Yeah, and these things supposedly are the size of a Volkswagen or a small car. I mean, really? Really? You're trying to tell me that the Iranians could get these things over U.S. airspace and we wouldn't know it?
If the Iranians even have such things, I mean,
there's a fair question. Do they even have that kind of technology?
Okay, maybe a goat with a spy camera shoved up its butt. They could get that over here. And I know that's a terrible, awful thing to say, but
accurate.
Knowing how the Ayatollah pretty much keeps them in the dark ages, I don't think the mothership with drones is going to get over here.
Exactly. I'm not buying this. I mean, look, I'm as reasonable a person as anybody else, and you guys know me. I'm not one to give myself over to conspiracy theory. Of course, that term anymore is kind of worthless because, what's the running joke about a conspiracy theory? Well, wait 4 months, it's usually the truth or something like that. Mm-hmm. But this story just stinks to high heaven. I'm sorry. I like Jeff Van Drew. He's a good congressman. He's a decent guy. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying that this is the Iranians. And I'm not buying the argument that says, well, it couldn't be us because if it were our government, they would have told everybody. Really?
Because they always have our best interests.
No, don't you know? Don't you know that's true? Well, apparently local lawmakers in New Jersey are getting PO'd about this. I got a clip here from a local state rep named Brian Bergen, and let's just hear his comments, see what he's got to say about this.
All right, so you're here today. You were just inside. You walked out. Why?
I walked out because it was worthless. It was the biggest amateur hour presentation I've ever seen about anything. Okay, it was ridiculous. There were no answers. Every question that was asked by a member of the state legislature, great questions, no answers, no resolution. They don't know where the drones are coming from. They don't know who's doing it. They don't know why they're doing it, but they say there's no credible threat. It was annoying to be there. I drove 2 hours to be here today, spent an hour in there. I got to drive 2 hours back. The biggest waste of 5 hours in my entire life.
So why do you think they called this meeting?
No idea. Why would you call a meeting to tell people you don't know anything? I have no idea. And then when the legislators would ask questions, there were no answers. Here's the most frustrating part. The colonel of the state police said that he had a helicopter of his flying over above one of these drones, a 6-foot drone or something. I can't remember exactly what he said. And he felt unsafe for his helicopter, so he just let it go. Just let it go. Where'd it go? Who knows? Didn't want to follow it because he didn't feel safe. Is that not the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard? I mean, honestly.
Do they have any idea where these drones are originating?
No, they don't. They would. Maybe if they followed that sucker to when it landed, they would know, but they don't. This is a complete lack of effort, in my opinion, on trying to figure this out. This is not about ability. We have the technology, we have the people, we have the training, we have the resources, we have the money. It's just a lack of effort. I mean,
why?
I don't know. They should be saying, you know what they should have done today with productive use of our time? If they didn't know anything, come in there and say, hey, legislators, we don't know anything. But if you get us these 10 things, do these 10 things for us, and the governor calls in this kind of action, we can figure it out. Will you help us? And then we would have helped them. But instead, it was just excuse after excuse, and we know nothing. It was infuriating, and I got up and I walked out.
You've been in the service, right?
Yeah, I was an attack helicopter pilot, Apache helicopter pilot in the Army, and I helped stand up the initial unmanned aircraft training battalion in the aviation sector of the Army. So I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, and these guys are not doing the job they need to do to figure out what's going on, and that is the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and the state police.
And they're saying no threat to Americans.
They're saying no threat, but how the hell do they know? They don't know anything. They don't know what it is. They don't know where it come from. They don't know nothing. When I walked in here today, I was actually pretty calm. I was excited to be here to find out a couple things. I thought they'd be like, hey, listen, it's FedEx trying to figure out. But instead, I got the most ridiculous amateur hour briefing I've ever sat through.
Wow, that's truly upsetting.
Yeah.
Okay. So New Jersey doesn't know what it is. Department of Homeland Security can't tell New Jersey what it is. FBI can't tell Jersey what it is. Jersey flies a helicopter over top of one of these things, won't stay with it to figure out where it's going or what the hell it's doing. Our government is saying, that's, or I should say, supposedly some people in the federal government are saying it's the Iranians.
And the government officially is silent on it.
Yeah, and then, yes and no. Let me explain that. I got a story here from ABC News. Pentagon shoots down Iran mothership claim amid New Jersey drone mystery. This is by Meredith Deliso. The Pentagon shot down a congressman's claim that an Iranian mothership is behind large drones spotted over New Jersey in recent weeks, while officials in the state are demanding a stronger federal response and transparency in connection with the mysterious unexplained sightings. Since mid-November, large drones of uncertain origin have been repeatedly spotted in the sky at night over central and northern New Jersey, including near a large military installation. State and local officials convened a closed-door meeting Wednesday morning at the New Jersey State Police headquarters with representatives from the Department of Homeland Security to address the matter, according to several in attendance. It remains unclear who is operating the drones, according to a DHS handout released by Montville Mayor Mike Galsali, who attended the meeting. Quote, at this time, according to the FBI, there are no known specific or credible threats related to these sightings, the handout stated. There have been reports ranging from 4 to 180 sightings per night. According to New Jersey Assemblyman Don Fantasia, who attended the meeting, the drones, quote, operate in a coordinated manner and have not been identified as hobbyist drones or ones related to DHS, she said. Several officials said following the meeting that they were not assuaged by the DHS response. Oh, you think? Gasali said it only heightened my apprehensions regarding the federal government's approach to this critical issue. The message conveyed that there is no credible threat, yet they are flying over critical infrastructure and their point of origin and destination remain unidentified. They will eventually find out, but for now, we don't know anything else. I'm sorry. Look, I might have my gripes with the state of New Jersey, and I might think that Phil Murphy's an idiot governor, which he is, but I'm sorry. The people of New Jersey have every right to be pissed off about this, and I don't blame them. I'm sitting down here like maybe 1,000 miles away from New Jersey, and this is unacceptable. I mean, look, I don't know if it's the Iranians. I don't know if it's us. I don't know if it's another country. That's not the point. If these things are flying over military installations and God knows what else,
they need to be shot down.
Shoot them down, and we'll figure it out later. Just take them down. I mean, look, if these things have been flying since mid-November, it's what, almost a month of this?
And they've got pictures of and record video or whatever else they've got of the military installation. Yeah, someone needs to find, next time they appear, follow them or just shoot them down.
WWG1 over on Rumble says, so what you're saying is I can't take a joyride over New Jersey in my floating recreational vehicle without everyone freaking out? Well, now, look, man, if it's you, obviously we don't want you getting shot down. But, dude, I don't know that I'd go taking a flight over Jersey anytime soon. TBA says, sniff and sniff, I smell a desperate effort at instilling fear into the populace. Ignore these a-holes. Well, yeah, it's just a bunch of fear porn. Well, maybe not, but somebody needs to give the people of Jersey some answers here. I mean, I get what you're saying, TBA, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you. But by the same token, this is crazy. I mean, look, if it's ours or our people, fine. DHS ought to be able to come out and say it. You know, I'm like you, Tracy. I say shoot one of them down. Let's figure out who made the damn
thing.
Shoot
them all down.
Yeah. Let's just be done with this.
Even if they're recreational drones, but from a rich guy, he has no business flying over a government installation.
Well, but here's the other thing. I mean, look. If somebody is doing this for the express purpose of trying to scare the crap out of somebody, yeah, shoot them all down, find out who issued them, and hand them a bill and say, okay, this is what it costs to take out your joke. Pay up.
Even if it is UPS, FedEx, Amazon, shoot them down.
But they would at least say, hey, guys, hold on.
We were testing some drones and they
We're testing some stuff here. We're sorry. We were not trying to scare anybody. You know, forgive us. It's our fault. I would understand that. Okay. But they're not stepping up to do anything, you know. So it's kind of like, all right, what do you want to do here? Shoot one of them down and let's find out. Yeah. Small time. Yeah. This is like the Chinese spy balloons. We just let it happen. Yeah. We're just letting this go on for a month. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy.
It's like no one cares in the federal government right now. They all know what's coming. They're all too busy shredding documents and hiding shit so they don't get in trouble. Or they've just checked out. We sure don't have a president or a vice president anymore. They've both been on vacation since November 6th.
Yeah, that's true. Look, I don't know if that would be the first thing they'd check, Zippy, but you know what? The comment is duly noted, my friend. Duly noted. Wait a minute. We now got a solution. WWG1 says, I ordered a pizza from Jersey. That must be what it was. Well, daggone it. Can you not? Do they not have a sense of direction over there in Jersey on how to get from Jersey to here without flying around in circles for a month? I mean, that pizza's got to be freezing cold by now. Just saying. Oh, my Lord. Crazy. I mean, it's the nuttiest. And again, I think you're right. We're not going to know. Take one of these babies out and let's figure out what the heck is going on here. Yeah. And with that, I'll hand it over to you for the next topic.
Speaking of how to get rid of drone, I've got the perfect man for the job. This happened in Florida.
Oh, God.
A man that I want to consider a national hero took out a Walmart drone that was flying over his house and is now facing federal charges. But this is the most laid back dude, 72-year-old. And he even makes a joke when he's arrested. He looks the officer straight in the eye and says, "I can't breathe." Here, let me just play the video.
Put it up there. We got to play that.
It's Florida man on steroids, yeah.
This is funny. This is going to be hysterical, I'll bet. All right. Popping it up right now. Here we go.
Sitting straight above it. Straight above me. You haven't had hovered, lowered some kind of cord down or something, turned around and sent something back up, and then after it was shot at, it turned around and went north.
Gotcha. Okay. What'd you shoot at it with?
9mm.
Okay. All right.
How much trouble am I in?
Quite a bit. You've been honest with you. Quite a bit, actually. So there's a federal charge that goes along with it. There's a felony charge that goes along with it. That's kind of like where we're at.
Okay.
Okay.
What happens and what happens and what?
Well, before we continue this conversation, I'm really just for you being honest. You really just took me off guard. I'm not.
What am I going to do? I'm going to lie.
True. All right, sir. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say
You're putting me under arrest.
I'm just going to arrange you the Miranda warning just so I can get out. That way you and I can continue our conversation, okay?
I understand the Miranda warning. I don't have to speak to you unless I want an attorney, okay?
I got you. Let me just read you this real quick, and then we'll go from there, okay? You have the right to remain silent? Go ahead, Serge. 26. I'm already talking to him. All right, sir. So you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him or her present with you while you're being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, won't be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish. If you want to head out underneath it, get out the rain. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any questions or make any statements. You understand each of these rights I have explained to you. Having these rights in mind, you wish to talk to us now.
Yes, I understand my rights.
Yeah, I got you. So it was hovering above your house. It lowered something down.
No, it just hovered above my house.
You said something about the pulley system.
A cord or something. It stayed there for about 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I shot at it. Okay.
I got you.
And the cord went up. It turned because it was facing east.
Okay.
Because that's east, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was working on my pool equipment.
Oh, you were outside when you noticed it?
Oh, I was working on my pool equipment.
Gotcha.
Waved it off and everything. Never left. I went inside, went into the safe, got the weapon, came out, tried to shoot it off again. It didn't move. I fired one round at it. Now they say I hit it, so I must be a good shot, or else it's not that far away. So I'm under all sorts of, they say there's $10,000 worth of damage to the drone and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going to wind up having to find a real good defense lawyer.
You want to cuff you in the front?
Whatever you need to do by protocol.
Well, no, we have,
We've been fine. There's no issues. We're not,
Yeah.
Just let me know if it's too tight, all right?
Yeah.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Oh my God. Oh my God. You have the right to wear a fruity common Miranda hat. Okay. Thank you, Duke.
Man's
Hello,
an
Adam.
absolute legend.
Yeah, agreed. Sounds like he was defending his airspace. I can't disagree with you on that one.
If a drone is hovering over your house for 10 minutes, not making a delivery, because evidently it was from Walmart or one of the delivery services that are now using drones. If it's just hovering over your house, that could be a peeping Tom trying to look in your windows. And I think you should have every right to fire a shot at it.
Yep.
But
Absolutely.
evidently that's shooting at an aircraft or damaging an aircraft is a federal offense.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Just crazy. TBA says over on Rumble, George Carlin would be proud. We're going to need new drone laws. I'm a little surprised in one sense we haven't Well, and maybe this is different in different jurisdictions. I mean, in West Virginia, yes, we have drones and we use them for various things. I don't know how much we've gotten into the whole, FedEx or UPS delivering your packages or Amazon delivering your packages by way of a drone. But maybe in other states or other cities or whatever, it's a bigger deal, But I don't know, man. It just how we're not dealing with this already in law, I don't know, because this is going to become a thing. Because
Can you imagine whoever was controlling that drone? They see that guy fire off a shot, boom, it hits it. Yeah, I bet it pulled that cord up and got the hell out of there real quick.
You got it. I mean, yeah, here's this 19-year-old kid, and he's, eating Cheetos or whatever while he's flying the drone. And all of a sudden, like, holy shit! Probably spit the Cheetos right out of his mouth trying to get that drone the hell out of there, man. Jeez.
And then
Crazy.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Yeah. WWG1 says, when they read you your Miranda rights and they ask you if you understand, the answer is always no and never sign anything. If I ever get in a pinch, WWG1, I'm going to remember this piece of advice. And if they still haul me off to the Hooskow, you're probably going to be the first phone call, because you're going to wind up being my legal representation. Because when you get down to the jail and I look at you and go, I did everything you told me to do, dude, you're representing me in court. Congratulations, you just earned the job. So there you go.
That poor old man, he just wanted to get this over with so he could get back and watch Matlock. I mean, that's essentially what was going on there.
Yeah. I mean, Adam, this is a good way to describe it. Old time boomer gets his gun. Oh, God. Well, I mean, but then again, you're in your backyard. You look up. Here's a drone. It doesn't have a package. There's no identifying marks on it.
He said it was hovering over his house for 10 minutes.
It's hovering over his house for 10 minutes. Hovers over his house for 10 minutes. There's no identifying marks on it. It's not delivering a package.
It's got a cord coming out towards his house.
You don't know what's on the end of that cord. I don't blame the guy. I'd have probably done the same thing. Of course, I'm from West Virginia. We're just cranky enough. We'll just shoot at something for the hell of it anyway, whether we got a good reason or not. But, Hunter S. Thompson would have fired off a cannon at that thing, knowing how crazy he was. WG1 says, Brian, you must remember, understand means I stand under you in legal parlance. Oh, great. Now we're getting sketchy here. Okay. So you're not going to be my first phone call, apparently. All right. I see how it is. All right. Yeah, that's just nuts. That is just nuts. Crazy.
The poor sheriff's deputies, I don't think any of them wanted to take him in.
No, you can tell. They're like, how much trouble I'm in? Well, I ain't going to lie, sir. You're in a lot of trouble here.
Federal charge, but...
Yeah. We got to read you your Miranda. Sorry. Yeah, you could tell these guys don't want to take him in. And it's ridiculous.
I hope his wife was following right along behind him so she could bail him out.
God, yes. I hope you're right.
I'm gonna do some digging and see if I can figure out how that case, because that was back in the summer and it's just now making the rounds. I'm gonna see if I can't figure out what happened with that case.
Okay. Well, I've got one, and I have to thank Gypsy for this one. And I will admit I have not been able to do as much digging into this as I might otherwise have liked before I bring this to you guys. But this one's bizarre enough, it ought to be talked about, even if it's just a cursory look at it. I got tagged on something in Twitter, and this one is interesting. And I'm going to pop this up here. This is let me see if I can enlarge this to make it easier for you guys to read. There we go. This is from a Twitter handle called Inconvenient Truths by Jennifer Zhang. She is a writer and a reporter and a self-proclaimed China expert. And she's got the following tweet. And there's a video below all this. So this kind of is a little bit of a setup here. So let me read the tweet, and I'd be interested to get your guys' take on this. Can you believe this is a U.S. Navy recruiting office in Alhambra, California? Every recruiter here is Chinese, as well as all the people coming to enlist. The working language here is also Chinese. The video was filmed by a Chinese language YouTuber, and the U.S. Navy recruiter who took him there to film all of this is Ensign Second Class Klang Wang. In the description box of the video on YouTube, which was uploaded on December the 1st, 2024, Klang Wang contact information is provided, and what concerns me is that the first option listed is WeChat ID. The telephone number to the office comes in as a close second. All data collected on WeChat is controlled by the CCP. This at least gives the CCP access to the personal data of all those who apply to join the U.S. Navy and who are admitted. The second question is, why is this office staffed exclusively by Chinese individuals? The other day, I shared a video where a Chinese-American military member said that if the U.S. goes to war with China, he would quit the U.S. Army because he does not want to fight against China. If all these people recruited through this office feel the same, what will happen? And a worst-case scenario is, what if some of them are recruited by the CCP as spies, or perhaps they are already spies? Of one thing I am sure, of listening to their accent, is that they all come from mainland China, everyone in this video. And the title of the original Chinese language video is, quote, "How desperate are Chinese people to join the U.S. military? Their overwhelming recruiting offices, each with their own reasons for enlisting." The Chinese word used is, which is translated as Chinese people, or more precisely, people from PRC or people of PRC. In the mind and subconsciousness of the YouTuber who shot the video, all these people belong to the People's Republic of China. Okay, that's a lot of interesting stuff to go through. Let me play just a snippet of this, and then we'll talk about it.
这是我单位的领导。你好，简单的 PRT 的一个 brief 就而已，不会真正的 PT 的那种。然后我知道签字对吗？对，签字。签一下那个收的票，记录一下你的体重。对，有个软件，就是你手。哎，早上好。早上好。好。给你吹下体重。这个一个一个来。对的，一个个来。上去量体重。是126磅。你们每一个人都在长重，少的长个3-4磅，多的能长到10磅，可以吗？可以。但是你要想一个问题，就是你现在长得越重，你进去之后跑步越难，懂吧？我不在乎你现在长重，只要你没超重。
Okay, this goes on for about like 5 minutes. I'm going to drop this in chat on both sides, Rumble and YouTube. And I want to thank Gypsy for bringing this one to my attention. This one is, I'm not going to lie. I mean, Tracy and I were talking about this one backstage. This is a little weird. Now, a little more context. Jennifer Zhang is awesome. She fled China and was incarcerated by the CCP as a Falun Gong dissident. Okay, thank you for that piece of information. I wasn't aware too much of her background. What do you make of this?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm actually looking up Alhambra, California to see if there's an unusually high amount of Chinese Americans that live there. That might explain it a little bit. But the whole thing about her talking about a Chinese recruit that would not want to fight China if we ever went to war, that's very concerning.
That's a legitimate concern. I agree.
That's very concerning. Now, I'm not talking about we need to go back to, that to say anything different is, putting me in terms of Japanese internment camps, and
Right.
I don't want people to freak out that much, but it is
Right.
a little concerning. But let me see. Let's see.
Yeah, like I said.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
this-
Okay. Half of that city, 52%, as of 2020, is Asian American. So that would explain some of it.
All right. Some of that I can understand. But I mean, just
So it's 52%, probably higher now, since that was 4 years ago. So probably around 55% Asian, 10% white, less than 2% African American, less than 1% Pacific Islander, and about 36% Latino. So it's a lot of Asian and Latinos in that city. And even the mayor is Chinese American.
Oh,
But
my goodness.
if you've ever been to like a Chinatown in a large city, they do hang on to their Mandarin or their Mandarin language and speak it exclusively in neighborhood, even though they do speak English. And you also see that with the Italian neighborhoods, the the Latino neighborhoods. You do see it.
Okay. Yeah, Zippy with a good comment here. Even in the U.S., how loudly can you speak out against the CCP and Chinese community? Okay, fair enough. That's true. That is true.
Well, I don't want to go down that conspiracy. I'm sure there's some people that are pro-China there, but also you have to feel that the majority of the people, at least a healthy portion of them, fled China because they don't want to be part of the CCP. So I would say you can speak very freely against the CCP. Now, I served with a young man that was Vietnamese American, second generation, and his father fought for the Americans in Vietnam War. He came from Vietnam just a few years before the war started, got his, went through legal process and then joined the army. And he said even up to the day his father died, he would have people ask him, "Well, who'd you fight for?" I'm a Vietnamese veteran. Well, who'd you fight for? United States. I'm a citizen. So I think it's probably legit.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I have followed this young lady on Twitter. We'll see what happens. Just very. Yeah, I think, who was it? WWG1 over on Rumble says, "Is this a recent video or something shot during the COVID years?" Now, that I am not sure of. It was uploaded to, according to the tweet, it was uploaded. Okay. All right. Hang on a minute. It was uploaded December the 1st. Okay. We'll take a look here for a second. Give me one moment here. Okay, let me pop
like I said,
that.
I'm not saying I have the answers. I just thought, the first thing to check is the demographics of that city.
Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at some of the comments. This is the original video in Chinese. Has video so far has 19,000 views. By the way, I've downloaded the original video from YouTube in case it gets deleted. This is the description of the original Chinese language YouTube video. Interested in the U.S. Navy, contact Sergeant Wang's recruiting station below, yada, yada, yada. There's some more of that. This happens in New York City, too. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see what else we got here. This makes it easy for Chinese spies to be inserted into the U.S. military when we're invited with open arms. Yes, huge loopholes. Is a loophole if it's exactly what the CCP paid our ruling class to allow. Yeah, this might be worth looking into a little bit more. And Gypsy said she just sent me something over on Twitter by way of a follow-up. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Let me pop this over here as well. Here we go. Chinese illegals seeking naturalization lured by U.S. military offices ran by Chinese individuals and advertised in China. I've reported on this before, but in New York, so it doesn't surprise me. And they're tagging Jennifer Zhang, Navy recruit office in Chinatown, New York, advertises for recruits to earn rapid naturalization, offers for recruits to use Chinese WeChat, Chinese spyware to sign up, is owned by Tencent, which is CCP official with Party People's Liberation Army ties. CCP uses WeChat to surveil on Uyghurs and Chinese all over the world. Trump tried to ban WeChat in the U.S., but got shut down by a judge. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, this Okay, I'm going to see if I can follow this one just to see where it goes, because this one's interesting and disturbing all at the same time. So we'll see what happens with this one. But with that, I'm going to throw it back over to Tracy for the next topic of the night.
Oh, I'm pretty much out of topics.
Okay. Well, I've got one more, and we'll use this
all
one to
I
bring
had. The only other one I had was actually doing the same topic as you, so I didn't want to steal it from you.
Okay. All right. Well, I will go ahead and pull this one up and see if I can. Hang on one second. Free speech got a victory the other night, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, late at night, because a Texas bankruptcy judge has ordered that the auction of InfoWars, where the Onion supposedly bought them out, is not going to go through. I've got a story here from NBC News. Thought you guys might want to see this. Bankruptcy judge rejects the Onion's bid to buy Alex Jones InfoWars. The ruling dashed, at least for now, the plans of the Onion's parent company to take over InfoWars and radically shift its content. Article by David Ingram. A bankruptcy judge on Tuesday, and when I say Tuesday, late Tuesday, rejected a bid by the Onion's parent company to buy Alex Jones's far-right media empire, including the website InfoWars, ruling that the auction process was unfair. U.S. bankruptcy judge Christopher Lopez said after a 2-day hearing that the Onion's parent company, Global Tetrahedron, had not submitted the best bid and was wrongly named the winner of an auction last month by a court-appointed trustee. I don't think it's enough money, Lopez said late night ruling from the bench in Houston. I'm going to not approve the sale. It is not immediately clear whether there would be a new auction in which the Onion would bid again for Jones's assets. Lopez said he would leave that decision about what to do next in the hands of the trustee, Christopher Murray, who had overseen the auction. The judge said Murray had acted in good faith in running the auction, in which the Onion's parent company initially appeared to prevail, but he said the trustee did not run a transparent process and should have given a rival bidder associated with Jones another chance to improve its bid. Quote, I think you've got to go out and try and get every dollar, Lopez said. I think that the process fell down. The ruling dashed, at least for now, Global Tetrahedron's plans to take over InfoWars and radically shift its comment from anti-government conspiracy theories to satirical humor. Instead, Jones can continue to operate his far-right media business as he has for decades. Jones went live from a studio soon after the ruling and told viewers, we can celebrate the judge doing the right thing. He had previously referred to the sale as an auction fraud and a fraudulent sale. So there you go, folks. For right now, a little bit of a victory.
Brian, I hate to do this to you, but I've got a little bit of a pet emergency going on over there. I've got to log off. I'm so sorry.
No. You're fine.
Sorry.
You're fine, dear.
Right. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Have a good night, Tracy.
Bye-bye.
That, folks, is Tracy Barkley from GenX Marks the Spot. Please remember to subscribe to her channel. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring the train into the station and thank all of you guys so much for being here for the Wednesday night newsroom that we do here on my channel and on Tracy's. I want to thank everybody for super chats, gifted memberships, everything. You guys are like totally awesome. Thank you so very much. Folks, this is the last time for a little while that you're going to see me. Now, before you say anything, just hear me out. Normally, I'd be doing a live stream tomorrow night. However, I am having dinner with an old friend, and I am not going to be doing a live stream tomorrow night. And I will be traveling a little bit this weekend. So Front Porch Brunch is out. I will post stuff on Twitter. I know that I've got an interview coming up Monday night on the Washcast with Robert Herr, which is a taped interview. It's not going to be live, but we'll be doing that on his channel. So I'm probably, unless I do a live stream Sunday evening, which I might yet do, it will probably be next week when you guys see me. So, apologies for all that in advance, because I absolutely love and adore you guys. You're like the best audience on the internet. But like I say, scheduling of things and traveling is going to prevent me from being doing any live streams or videos or stuff like that. So I apologize in advance, but I love you guys, and I want to thank you again, as always, for everything you do for this channel and for me. We are growing, we are moving in the right direction, and I cannot thank you enough for all of that. So with that, I'm going to bid you guys a happy Wednesday evening. And well, thank you, dear. I genuinely appreciate that. That's very sweet of you. Very sweet. Yeah, this old friend and I have not seen each other in forever, and we've been trying desperately to schedule this dinner, and God willing, it's going to happen tomorrow night. So there'll be no live stream on Thursday. And like I say, I'll be doing a little bit of traveling this weekend. So Front Porch Brunch is postponed until the following weekend. TBA says, so when are you going to be back? Well, like I say, I might do a live stream. I might do a live stream Sunday night, but that is not official yet. That depends on how I feel. No, wait a minute. I can't do it Sunday night because I've got a neighborhood thing going on. So that's going to be out. At this point, it looks like it's Tuesday of next week. And again, my apologies to all of you guys. Believe me, I love hanging out with you, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So I will say a temporary goodbye to all of you. No, it's not going to be 2025 TBA. Good grief. I'm not going off that long. Heavens to Murgatroyd, man. WWG1 says, do you owe your friend money? No, just a get together for dinner. That's all I owe my friend. But anyway, love you guys so much. Thank you as always for being here. Thank you for everything you do to support the channel. You guys are completely and totally awesome. To Jardam and Zippy and everybody else tonight with comments and memes and everything else. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great Wednesday night. I will see you guys sometime early next week, barring something coming up that I can do a live stream sooner. But I will see you guys next week. And remember, as we depart, the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, it's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your week, a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.